Welcome to Taguig City Education Office and the Taguig City's Education Hour. I am Jemiro Ann S Mapalad from Bagumbayan National High School.
Hello, so once again, we will be discussing real news versus fake news. So what are the basic things that you should see or consider when you're reading your news article, and how to identify if that news article is actually a real one or a fake one? Okay, so before we start with our discussion for today, let's have first a very quick game. So I have here two boxes. Okay, you can see there box number 1 and box number 2. So for each box, there is a question, and I want you to answer those questions within 5 seconds. Okay, are you ready? Okay, let's start. Okay, so for box number 1, we have here the question or the instruction. Arrange the boxes of words properly to make the sentence correct. Ready? 5 seconds starts now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. So what's the correct answer? So for box number 1, the correct answer is, let me read, coronaviruses are a large family of viruses which may cause illness in animals or humans. Did you get it correctly? Yes? Very good. Let's go now to box number 2. Okay, so for question number 2, let me read. In the Philippine setting, what is the meaning of IATF? Letter A, International Automotive Task Force. Letter B, Internal Arbitrary Task Force. Or letter C, Interagency Task Force. 5 seconds starts now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the correct answer is the correct answer for number 2 is letter C. IATF means Interagency Task Force. Did you get the correct answer? Yes? Very good. So besides from reading books, where can we also get information? Yes, we also get information from news. Sometimes we read them, we watch them on TV, or hear them in the radio. So, is news important? Yes, definitely. But what is the meaning of news? So, some references, they say that news is an acronym of North, East, West, and South, the 4 cardinal directions. But then, if you will be checking out other references, the meaning of news is new things. So news has an etymology from Old French and Medieval Latin, or from late Middle English. So news meaning new things. And if we're going to check oxfordlearnersdictionaries.com, it gives the meaning of news as a report of recent events that appear in newspapers or on television, radio, or the internet. So just like my example there, you can see from CNN's website, it says there, the gig rolls out drive-through COVID-19 testing. So the internet, of course, is the latest and the newest platform for reading your news articles. Okay, so now let's try to differentiate real news from fake news. So for real news, I have here 6 things to consider. Okay, so for number 1, you can read it from your screen. So it says there, so a real news has an attention-getting headline. Number 2, a strong lead containing 5 W's and 1 H. Number 3, pull quotes. Number 4, real facts. Number 5, a strong summary. And of course, number 6, an organized structure. Okay, so number 1, we have their attention-getting headline. So what do we mean by that? So an attention-getting headline for real news, meaning they capture their readers' attention. They are interesting enough for the readers. And of course, real news came from real journalists, from real writers. So they know that their headlines should not or should be clear and specific. Their headlines should not be wordy. So the example there that I have from eaglenews.com, we have there, Ciudad de Victoria quarantine facility for COVID-19 almost complete, says Philippine government. Okay, number 2, we have a strong lead containing 5 W's and 1 H. So going back to what I was saying earlier, a real news was written by a real writer, a real journalist. So these real journalists, they know that they should have a strong lead. And as a reader, what can you find from the lead? Okay, so we have there 5 W's and 1 H, meaning 5 W's, what, when, where, who, and why. And then for 1H, we have, of course, how. So these writers, they know that their lead is the first and most important paragraph in the news article. Okay, so like just in the example from bbcnews.com, you can see there, it's just there, some children are hiding their talents and skills in school for fear of being bullied, research has suggested. So again, your lead is also supporting your headline. So for number 3, a real news article use quotes or direct quotations, or sometimes we call it pull quotes. So you can see from the example, we have a few words there or a sentence there with a larger typeface, and obviously that's our pull quote. So what does a pull quote offer? So a pull quote or a direct quotation offers opinions, authentic opinions, emotions, expressions of the sources. Like, for example, they interviewed President Duterte, then they can quote what he said from the interview. As simple as that. So number 4 is about real facts. So it'll be hard for a real news article to be real or authentic without real facts. The writer or the journalist of that particular article should be able to use people trail or paper trail in presenting his or her work to the readers. So what is people trail? People trail meaning human connection, such as interviewing the formers and the currents. For example, there can be an interview of Dr. Janet Garin since she is the former DOH secretary. And of course, maybe an interview as well of Dr. Duque since he is the current DOH secretary. While paper trail meaning public records, documents, so we have there from womb to tomb, meaning from womb, example, birth certificate, tomb, example, death certificate. So we can use different sources, different records, different paper trails to present a good news with real facts. For number 5, we have a strong summary. So a real news article has a very good summary and it has brevity. So guys, what do we mean by brevity? Brevity meaning the quality of expressing much in few words, meaning less is more, and a news article is different from a traditional fiction writing and storytelling. So last but not the least, we have number 6, which is a real news has an organized structure. Okay? Unlike fake news, which is commonly messy with its structure, a real news usually follows the inverted pyramid structure, meaning we start from the most important detail or information down to the least important details. And of course, structure also has good grammatical features. Okay? Unlike fake news, there could be a lot of grammatical errors. So now that we're done with real news and the basics of it, now let's go to fake news. Fake meaning lies, hoaxes, conspiracies. So what is really fake news? According to BBC News, fake news is often posted on legitimate looking websites and social media pages. The stories are designed to be sensational or controversial, making more likely to be shared, especially when they support our existing beliefs. So fake news can be everywhere. Okay, it could be on Facebook, on Instagram, it could be everywhere. So the thing here is we should be aware. So now, how do we identify a fake news? In identifying fake news, we should think of 5 things. So what are those 5 things? So number 1, you can see from your screen, a fake news has a strange website or URL. Number 2, a fake news has grammatical errors. Number 3, fake news has photoshopped images. Number 4, it has or it doesn't have writers. It has anonymous writers. And number 5, a fake news, of course, has made up information or so-called facts. Going now to number 1 in identifying a fake news. So please check out the 2 images. Well, what can you notice? You can see in the first image, it looks like the real Amazon.com. But then, if we will be checking the URL box, it says there, here you go, AmazonX.com, which is clearly the website is a fake because the real Amazon's website is only Amazon.com, no X, okay? While the other picture looked like the real ABC News as well. But also in the URL box, it says there, abcnews.com.co. Again, the original ABC News website doesn't have CO at the last part of it. So clearly, these 2 websites are nothing but fakes. Therefore, if you will be reading news articles from fake websites, expect to get fake news as well. So again, before you read news or news articles, please always check the URL. It should not be strange or fishy. For number 2, a fake news has grammatical errors and photoshopped images. Look at the first image. The headline was headache. School is more than reading, writing, and arithmetic? Really? Wrong spelling is wrong, even for news articles, obviously. It should be spelled as arithmetic. The M should be followed by an E instead of an A. Now, the second image shows a photoshopped image. Fake news aims to mislead. Therefore, the images are also misleading. If you suspect that the images in the news article that you're reading are photoshopped and it has loads of grammatical errors, please stop reading it and report it ASAP. Also, One reason that a fake news cannot be trusted is because it usually has anonymous writers, anonymous or unknown writers. While a real journalist or writer would be really proud to have his or her name in his or her article. Real writers of real news stories accept their accountability in their writings, especially when they publish them. They know that they're only presenting factual and honest information to the public. While fake news, they usually have unknown writers, anonymous writers, or sometimes we call them trolls. Yes, you heard me right. Sometimes we call them trolls. And what do these trolls want? They only want nothing but to spread out rumors, hate speeches, and slanderous statements. Nothing's good really coming out from these so-called online trolls. And of course, last but definitely not the least, a fake news is made of information or facts. So how do we verify this so-called information? Of course, we do cross-checking or fact-checking. There are plenty of websites in the internet where we can actually fact-check infos. One excellent example is AP Fact Check. Just go to www.apnews.com/AP Fact Check or just visit factcheck.org. Another technique that I can share with you today is to try to Google the information that you have read. Then maybe try to see if other legitimate news websites are showing the similar details. And please always remember, before you believe something, verify, verify the information first. Fact checking is life. Thank you for joining me in my simple talk about real news and fake news. I hope that you learned something from my simple discussion. In this time of pandemic, most of us are really just at home and so caught up with the internet, browsing Facebook, Twitter, or maybe Instagram. But I hope that before you share something on your wall, or perhaps before you post something, please always think before you click. Read the story, not just the headline.
Again, this is Ma'am Jemiro Ann S Mapalad of the English Department from Bagumbayan National High School, signing off.